Hello, all my beautiful people. It is time once again for another amazing episode of If You Give a Dad a Podcast. So this week I have with me a returning guest. This is somebody that I had on last year, and I'm very excited to have back on the show, and that is Big Joe Helms, the Silverback. I am really glad that he was able to come back on the show. We talk about all kinds of things, kind of tell where he's been since the last time he was on here. He's wrestled in all different kinds of places, been doing big things in mid-states and SICW. And so, yeah, I wanted to bring him back on so we could kind of talk and see where he's been. We get into a few other subjects as well. We talk about his cars and some other hobbies that he has. And I'm just really excited for you guys to hear this episode. And for those of you who are here just to listen to the Joe Helms episode, welcome. I hope that you enjoy what you hear, and I hope that you stick around and listen to some of the other great episodes we have here as well. So, if you're as excited as I am, then let's get the show on the road.
If You Give a Dad a Podcast. Hey, Dad.
So where did you actually train at?
I made a really good career out of being able to bump, sell, and I had a punch me face.
I wasn't about to call you Dad, so.
Seriously?
I felt like I was in an anime or something.
People get really mad at those videos for some reason. Like it triggers certain people. Yeah.
Bloop.
Wow.
I was actually lost as an infant, and I was taken in by a traveling group of independent wrestlers.
I love it. I'm excited for this one.
Bro.
Get punched in the face on the daily.
Do you always do these interviews with your shirt off?
What?
Man, this guy won't shut up.
All right, everybody. So today I have with me a returning guest. This is a guy that I've actually got to see wrestle a couple times. And I've told you before that I thought that he has the look. He has it. And he has actually flourished quite a bit since the last time I had him on the show. He's been doing stuff with Mid-States Wrestling as well as SICW and other places as well. And I am very excited to have him back on the show today. He is a Missouri-based wrestler, and that is Big Joe Helms. Man, how are you doing today?
Great, Jared, man. It's good to be back.
Yeah, it's very good to have you back on here. You have been a very busy man since the last time I had you on the show.
Yes. Yeah. I think I clocked in my first solid year in the business. It was a little over 40 matches total.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And before the new year started, I was already offered a year worth of dates with Mid-States,
a
year worth of dates with New Breed,
oh wow,
and a year worth of dates with SICW. So, and that's probably going to be close to around 60 shows, and that's not, and some of those are Sunday. That's not really counting in that. Because we do TV tapings at SICW on Sundays, and sometimes I do 3 or 4 matches in that day.
Oh, wow. So y'all do multiple recordings in a day then out there?
Absolutely. It is so cool up there. There's a great locker room of people up at SICW. That place has helped me hone my craft.
Yeah.
Because there's so much wrestling that I got to do, and I got so many brains from all over the place and legends that are constantly coming through.
Yeah. Well, I know that you said that he is one of the ones that, you know, he has a plethora of talent that comes through there, especially since he has names like Cowboy Bob Orton and stuff, you know, right there with him. So, you know, he
Absolutely.
is a very big promoter in that area.
Man, he's like the biggest because, you know, he's one of the ambassadors for the Cauliflower Alley Club.
Okay. Yeah, I recently just learned about that, actually.
Yeah, it's I became a member of that, man. It's you don't have to be a wrestler. You can be, you know, a big fan and join.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, that money goes to help us wrestlers if we get hurt.
Right.
If we can afford something, you know, we talk to Herb or whoever and see if it's something that they can help out with. Or any of them fall on hard times. It's just like a little insurance policy for the workers when they get older or something happens to them.
That's really cool to have because, I mean, if one thing that wrestlers need that usually they don't get is insurance. So,
yeah.
You know, it's nice that there's a group that can actually help out with things like that.
Yeah, and it's not even about the older wrestlers that fall on hard times or have lagging injuries from their day. We had a guy at SICW, Mauler McDarby. He's a younger guy. He had ended up tearing his shoulder apart, and they helped him with surgery and needs for him to recover.
That's really cool. I love hearing stuff like that.
It's fantastic. I get to actually make my first trip out to Vegas in August with all the guys. So
okay, so you'll get to go out there and kind of rub elbows. So I noticed that we've got to see a little bit more of the Silverback character as of late when it comes to mid-states wrestling. How has it been bringing that character back,
Jared? I had been teasing. Even though I was the hired gun,
right?
Stephen E.
Yep.
And we were doing some bad stuff, and finally I got to that point where me and Steven, I just had enough of him, and I told him to shove it. And now I brought the Silverback character out, which you guys have seen where I had kind of teased. I'd go somewhere else and I'd bring the character out. I would be the monster Silverback as a heel, maybe in Tulsa or further down in Arkansas, just kind of testing the waters of seeing how the crowd reacted to it.
Right.
And it was overwhelming with just that.
Yeah.
And so once the decision was made, all right, let's go. And not this past weekend, but the week before was the actual debut of the Silverback in mid-states.
Okay.
And this crowd has wanted it because they came to Springfield when I left, the night that I left Stephen, and they had started a Facebook page that said "Set Joe Free," and they were chanting "Set Joe Free" the whole place. It was insane. And they had signs. I mean, they were going nuts. Like they didn't like Steven, even though I was heel and the bad guy. There was something about me that they really liked, even though they could tell that my character was like almost kind of forced into do it, even though it was supposed to be about money.
Yeah.
And so once I left and had enough of it, and so now Steven and all his goons are coming after me.
Okay. All right.
And so that debut was epic. I mean, it didn't have anything to do with Steven during the debut.
Right.
But that crowd was so hot because they didn't know what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
And because a lot of them hadn't seen, because I don't go out to the merch table with all the gear on.
Right.
I make it a special occasion that it's only entrance only.
Yeah.
And so I come out and that place was just kind of like jaw dropped. and then once I got out there, they started chanting, "Joe's gonna kill you. Joe's gonna kill you." The whole place was rumbling, "Joe's gonna kill you." And, I had them eating out of the palm of my hand. And it blew me away because they actually got to see this other side of me that they kind of teasing about.
Right.
And anytime I called for the fans to raise up out of their seat, I would just take my hand and kind of almost not point to them, but kind of just like wave a hand out to them and raise it up, and they would get up off their feet and go nuts. If I pointed to the other side and did that, they would get off their feet and go nuts. If I started beating my chest like the gorilla or just being upset, they went ballistic. So I had them in the palm of my hand.
That's cool. That's really cool. And I remember from our first conversation that we had, whenever you were talking about, you came out and just destroyed a babyface, and the crowd's reaction to you during that very first time in mid-states, you got a pop from the crowd because they actually enjoyed seeing you beat that person up. So,
yeah, and I couldn't believe it.
So now getting to see you turn on a man that they actually have a disdain for and stuff, I imagine that was a deafening crowd. I think I actually might have saw a video clip where they were chanting "Joe's going to kill you." So
Yeah, well, I haven't seen that one, but I haven't even got to see that first match because Warren, I think his name is Warren Anderson, Warren, I can't think of his name, Warren something, but it was who I faced first.
uh-huh.
And we were going at it, and I was slinging him around the ring. I had him by about 140 pounds,
Oh wow.
and just I was slinging him around, and I hard buckled him, and he slid out of the ring, and I kind of went to chase him, and he grabbed my leg and kind of jerked it down on the ropes and kind of tweaked my hamstring a little bit. He come in and just started clipping me over and over again, working my leg.
Yeah.
And I finally get back to my feet, and the crowd's going nuts because I don't know it. He's behind me on the top rope about to come off.
Uh-huh.
This ball turn around, and he's flying crossbodies off the top, and I got only one leg at this point. And so I catch him with one leg, and I just shoulder press him up onto my shoulders and hit him with my spinning cutter with one leg. And that whole place just went ballistic. It went crazy over it,
That's
and
great.
It was literally like a 6.5 minute match. And they were just insane. It was just insane.
Yeah. I remember, so the last match that I got to see you in was at the free show in West Fork. I was supposed to go to the Silent Spring show, but I ended up getting COVID, and I didn't think anybody wanted me to spread that around, so I stayed home.
Yeah.
But
me and Brandon, we went at it.
The cool thing that I saw, though, was whenever I'm sitting there and, I can hear everybody that's around me. And whenever you come out, they're like, dude, he actually looks like a wrestler.
Everywhere I go, even at the Walmart, man.
Really?
Yeah, because I was in Harrison right before my first debut, and I ran down there. I think it was to get some duct tape or something for some wiring that we needed to tape down. And I'm just in my wife beater and my regular clothes, sweatpants, running around in there,
Yeah.
And I walked around this corner, and this lady looks at me and she goes, "Damn." All I can say is, "Damn." And I was just like, "Oh, thank you," and I'm like all embarrassed, because everybody in the store is just all of a sudden looking, staring.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, all right.
That's funny.
I get it everywhere I go. And there was a lot of times I rode with Steven and here and there, and he would just be like, "Joe," he said, "you got to look." He said, "Everywhere you go, you look like somebody, like you're somebody important. It's just who you are."
Yeah.
And Herb said it himself best. He goes, "Joe," he said, "there's a lot of guys up here trying to find their thing." And he said, it's hard for them to find their thing. He said, "But you can walk out that back of that curtain and already know that you're a wrestler."
Yeah. Most definitely. Yeah. It's great, being able to have that feeling, knowing, it can give you a confidence, I'm sure.
Well, confidence, but then people think you get a big head, which I'm way past that. I'm too old for that crap. I'm just humble. And I'm happy I get all these opportunities that I'm getting because I don't look at anybody else out there.
Yeah. Well, and you come from the football background, and kind of going back to what you said in the first time you came on the show, you had played football, arena football, and I believe it was semi-pro that you played. And it was, you did that for, I don't know how many years it was that you said, but you were 15. Ready to do 15. Yeah. And so you were ready to do something else. And you still got a lot left to give. So, it's awesome that you're able to do this. I'm very happy for you.
I mean, everybody's like, I don't know how you do it still. Like, I'll be 45 Friday.
Okay. Well, happy early birthday.
Thank you. And everybody's like, and I'll have my 5th grandkid in April.
Okay.
And everybody's like, "What? You ain't old enough. You ain't old enough to have a grandkid." Yeah, I can show you. You want to see him? And it's a matter of taking care of yourself. Even when I played all those years, I took care of myself. I ate right. I lifted every day.
Yeah.
Football. That type of football wasn't just 6 months, and then you take time off till the season starts again, and then you start training.
Yeah.
I trained year round.
Right.
It didn't stop because I felt that I had to be on my A game no matter what.
Yeah. No, I totally get that. So kind of talking about football a little bit and everything, do you have any thoughts on, as we're talking right now, last night was the Super Bowl. Do you have any thoughts on last night's Super Bowl?
I'm going to be honest with you. Ever since I started wrestling, that was the first full football game I've watched in almost 2 years.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Oh, wow.
Yep. I devote my time to training and watching wrestling and training with people, asking questions. Like it's a nonstop process for me. Kind of like, like I said before, you can't have perfection without obsession.
Right.
And, just like I did with football, I found people online that I would just study.
Yeah.
And this is no different. This is no different.
Yeah. So do you have a favorite wrestler to watch that you like to kind of watch their stuff?
When I was a kid, I was all about Hulk Hogan.
Right.
As a wrestler, I'm digging into all kinds of big man stuff because I have this tendency to not realize I'm as big as I am.
Okay.
And I like to do things that I kind of get chewed on a little bit because, well, you're too big to be doing that stuff. Well, I can do it. Why not? I mean, why not? I'm an athlete and I'm athletic.
Right.
Do it. Well, why not? Well, that's your big man style. Well, I can be any style I want to if it's over.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
true.
True.
A little orthodox, but if every Chevelle is painted red or green,
yeah,
then you got that's all you have.
Right.
Now, if you got a Chevelle with 22-inch wheels and a blower out there, you're different.
Yeah.
Then people start to look at you. Though there's no reason to be the same cookie cutter person as everybody else.
Right.
They asked me, they're like, well, what do you want to work on? I'm like, well, I can do all the big stuff anytime I want to, but I want to learn to chain. I want to chain. If I need to chain with somebody smaller that wants to chain, I want to chain with them and help them through what they need to do back and forth.
Right.
I want to put on a solid headlock. I want to do a solid headlock takeover. I'll be able to do all those other things that the smaller guys do if I need to do it to have some, diversity to my arsenal.
Right. Yeah.
I'm always trying, with SICW and their announcer, I'm always trying to throw that announcer off to make him try to, what's he doing now? So I would come up with different submission holds and stuff.
Yeah.
And, I learned how to do the octopus hold.
Oh, okay.
And so it's not a standing or the one on the ropes. It's you get the guy down on all fours and you hook his left leg with your right, and you set him back and you set him up and you hook your leg over the top and you grab the arm and you pull it around like it's like it's an abdominal stretch and there ain't nothing you can do about it.
Right.
My butt can do it. And I tapped a few people out with it up at SICW and they were just like, what? And
that's great.
That's my goal is to always go up there with something different to show, like, man, this guy's developing. This guy's doing something different. Well, look at this.
Yeah. Well, you constantly morphing yourself. Not sticking to one thing.
Don't want us to do the same thing over and over again because everybody's just like, oh, there's that. Well, I know what's coming next.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the guy.
Yeah.
I don't want people telegraphing what I'm going to do next.
Right.
I always want to surprise. Oh, well, that's different,
Yeah, I don't want to be the 5 move guy.
Yeah. And they try to pump that. Just get 5 moves. Just get really good at those 5 moves.
Yeah.
And everything else you have to do is just complimentary, which I get it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I feel like with what you're doing, though, you're able to tell a much more in-depth story because what you do is you're a storyteller when you're in that ring.
Absolutely.
And so being able to do things that you don't normally see a big guy do furthers that story, because then it's like, okay, well, this didn't work. Say you do come across somebody who you can't keep down, okay, in the future, so you do have other moves. And so if you have those in your arsenal, then when it comes to that, well, what do I need to do to put this guy down? And so you have more than those 5 moves, and that's an interesting, I love that way of telling the story.
Well, and it's no different than, say, football. You have like 180 plays that you memorize, and you don't really realize that you memorize those 180 plays, because all it takes is this formation, this guy to move, and it becomes this one. So you could call it, whatever you want over here, and then call it a trap over here, because it's basically the same play. You're just moving the formation a hair.
Right.
You're changing up the play.
Yeah. So I know you've been wrestling in a bunch of different places here recently. So where all have you been wrestling, actually?
Oh, man, I think it was like 7 states last year, man.
Wow.
I went down to Texas, Kansas, Missouri, Illinois, Arkansas, Oklahoma. Like, man, I was just everywhere.
That's cool.
I got to meet, actually not just meet, but we picked up Lex Luger in Wichita.
Yeah.
And we rode together all the way to Dodge City, Kansas, and did a show there for it was a mid-state show we put together, and it was to support Special Olympics, I think it was.
Okay. I actually think I remember you telling me about or telling me that you got to ride with him. What was that like?
There and back. It was great. I mean, the guy is just so cool. Like, I wanted to talk to him about his physique. I wanted to talk to him about, what he ate and all that stuff. And he goes, he said, and I talked to him about the bodybuilding. He's like, I was never a bodybuilder. He said that thing that Vince did, he said that didn't even last. He said,
yeah.
He said, I credit my physique and all of that to Sting. He's the one you want to talk to, because I did everything that he told me to.
Really?
And I was like, I ain't going to see Sting anytime soon. So. Hey, Lex said I need to talk to you.
Sounds like an invitation to me.
Yeah, until I asked him about his football career and, all that, where he was, because, once he found out that I played arena, we just kind of talked a lot. He's a very religious man now.
Yeah. And
so, we just talked about just cool things, the NWO and the Horsemen and things like that, just questions that you've always wanted to ask that you just never knew you'd have a chance to.
Yeah. Yeah. That is really cool. I know right after that happened, there's another podcast that I listen to quite a bit, and that's the Bumps and Thumps podcast. And Brian Ferguson had him on there as well. And that was really interesting to listen to some of his stories and stuff on there.
Yeah. Yeah. Who else did I get to meet, man? I got to meet Kevin Sullivan last month.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Andrew Anderson.
Uh-huh.
And that was pretty wild because, I'd put on my hired gun gimmick. I went without the shirt and everything because my physique's gotten a lot better. I come walking around the corner and Andrew Anderson looks up at me. He looks at Kevin Sullivan and he says, I don't want him to touch me. And I said, hey, you got nothing to worry about. I'm on your side, brother. And then they commenced to try to set Flash Flanagan on fire with barbecue lighter fluid. So yeah, that was interesting that night.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, and I had a little conversation with because they told me, man, you got a good look. You look good. Just the same thing I hear from everybody. Like I heard from Haku and everything. And I got to talk to him, and I said, so what convinced you to do the dark side role? And his eyes got real big and bright, and he looked at me and he goes, MTV. I said, really? He goes, yeah. He said, and at that time, all them horror movies were coming out that people were just all excited over.
Right.
And he said, I decided to just go with that gimmick. And I said, okay. I said, well, let me ask you this. I said, at what point did you really realize you had something really good with that dark side that you did?
Yeah.
And he looked at me and he goes, I came out after after one of my shows, one of my matches, and he said these people set their own van on fire. I was like, yeah, I guess that's a good indicator. Those guys, they just want to talk, man. You know, they want to tell their stories, and when you ask them something that's just not that's something that the people normally ask, they just get real all bright and all excited, you know.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I actually got to meet Hacksaw Jim Duggan a few months ago, and that was really cool to just stand there and talk to him. He was at the Comic-Con that I went to, and it was him, and then JBL was right beside him and everything.
Okay.
And so I'm just sitting there. Huh?
How was JBL?
He was quieter than I thought he would be.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He was very reserved. You know, I was wearing my podcast shirt, and he looked at my shirt, and he looked at me, and he said, "If you give a dad a podcast, what does that even mean?" So I kind of explained it to him what it was. And they have a handler that sits there with them. And she was like, it's kind of like if you give a mouse a cookie, it's a children's book, and he was like, oh, okay. And I got to tell him about my show and then, talk to him for a few more minutes, but he was very quiet for the most part. I figured he'd be a lot more outspoken.
Yeah.
But
well, I mean, I've done a lot of that outspokenness.
Yeah.
Over the years,
For sure. But going back to Hacksaw, I had a buddy with me who doesn't even watch wrestling, and he went with me this year because the guy that plays Fry from Futurama was there, so he wanted to go see him, Billy West. So that was really cool meeting him and everything. But we stood there. There was nobody in line for Hacksaw, so we stood there for probably a good 10-15 minutes just talking to him. It was like a normal guy, and it was really cool to be able to do that, and you could just see his face light up as I'm talking to him and stuff. So
yeah,
I see what you're saying.
You see that where he stopped that home invasion intruder that one day?
No, what? Wait, what?
Oh, man, look it up. Look it up.
Okay,
this guy come barging in the house, and he stopped him dead in his tracks. Yeah, there's a story about it. This was just like, I think it was like right before Christmas or right after Christmas.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Did he get in the 3-point stance and take him out?
I think he put a 44 in his face.
Oh well, I mean that'll work too.
I mean, shoot, Hacksaw, he's kind of up there in his years. I don't think he wants to roll around with anybody, outside of wrestling anymore.
Yeah.
I figured, you got a 44 right there because he said he lives in an area where you could just keep the door open. And this barreling in. He said something about screaming about, they're trying to kill me or whatever. And I think it was because he was putting on because he got busted.
Right. Yeah, most definitely. So something that I know about you that after talking to you last time, and we didn't really get into this much, and I've seen you talk about this on Facebook a few times. You like to work on classic cars.
Oh, absolutely.
So
when I get time,
when you get time. So I think you said that you had a few Impalas, correct?
Absolutely. Yep. And I've had a few.
So how many do you actually have, and how many are you working on?
Oh, let's see. I've got 1, 2, 3. I have 3 64 Impalas. One's a 2-door hardtop. The other 2 are 4-door hardtops. I have a 63 Impala 4-door hardtop that I gave to my dad because he needed something to work on because he's old and retired and has nothing to do. And I have a 95 Chevy Caprice on 28s lifted 12 inches with Lambo doors and all that good stuff.
Wow. That's really cool.
Accumulation of things, and the one of the 4-door hardtops has a 3-pump 8-switch hydraulic setup on it. So
that's cool. That is really cool. Do you have a favorite?
My man, out of the ones that I have, or just like the favorite Impala?
Let's go both ways.
Okay, so I got real partial to the 63 4-door hardtop. My first car was a 2-door hardtop 64.
Okay.
Always wanted a convertible. They're just so hard to find.
Yeah.
So I kind of stuck with the Impalas, most of the time. And
Good car.
I got real partial to the 63 because I bought it for $1,000, and the guy I bought it from, it sat in a abandoned salvage yard for like 30, 36, 37 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it was only missing tail lights and the radiator and something else. Oh, the mirror on the door for sitting in there, and everything else was there, but it was full of brush where the animals had pulled it up in out of the hole in the trunk. You know what I mean? It was level to the seat. You couldn't see the floorboards.
Oh,
It took
okay.
me 3 days to just clean out the inside of the car just to get to the floorboard. And I got that car running and driving in less than a month under its own original powertrain.
Really?
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah. And the car, it says it has like 36,000 miles on it. And I actually believe that that's what it has, because there's no $100,000 or $100,000 mile wear on the brake pad, on the brake, the foot pedal on the inside of the car.
Yeah.
Because that's usually how people tell if it has a wear side, if it's wore out flat on one side,
Yeah.
it's got 100,000 miles on it. Well, it don't have none of that. And then when you look underneath the car, where you would think there would be asphalt in the fender wells and stuff, it's clean as a whistle.
Really?
Yeah, it's even got the original Western Auto shocks on it that are solid. They actually work good. They're not wore out or nothing. So I think an old grandma had the car and something happened because the wiring was all like spliced and stuff, and they couldn't get it started, so they just parked it. And it
Wow.
was on all the paperwork I could find in the bottom of all the crap. And it was from like Arizona, so it was an Arizona car, so it was really straight and solid.
Yeah.
And so I kind of fell in love with it. I put like gear drive and stuff in it and chromed out the engine, put all new dual Flowmaster exhaust on. It sounds amazing. I just gave it to Dad. I was like, here, you take it. It's the only thing I want. When you pass away, I want it back. And so he ended up getting the title for it and put transfer on death to me. So,
Okay.
and he's it up. So, but I mean, I got partial to that one, because it's one of those from the rubble.
What would you say is your all-time favorite car, though?
Oof. 58 Impala. Verbal.
Okay. 58 Impala. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm partial to the Impala myself, but it's because of something else that I love. There's a TV show called Supernatural, and so they have a 67 Impala that they drive on there.
Yeah.
And ever since that show, I have absolutely loved the 67 Impala. And there was one down the street from my parents' house just sitting out front for years, and they weren't doing anything with it. And, I finally got the nerve up to go ask them about it, and they got rid of it. So, yeah.
Because you went and talked to them.
Yeah, exactly.
They usually say, I'm going to fix it up, and they're like 95 years old.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's my favorite car. I know it's a boat, but I love it.
I had a two-door hardtop with the 327 300 horse power pack in it. It was pretty sweet. It was red. It was red with a black vinyl top, and everybody thought it was a Chevelle. And I'm like, nope, it's an Impala.
That's cool. I do love the classic cars and stuff like that. My dad has a friend that lives out in California, and he's retired, and that's what he does. Is he just restores classic cars?
Yeah, I love it, man. Like, everybody I would want one that's completely done.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I love trying to build them up from the ground up, because I mean, it's almost like you build a love for it.
Right.
And finding the parts that you want for it is a treasure hunt.
Yeah.
And who don't like a treasure hunt?
Right. Oh, for sure.
I mean, that's the love about it. And you see these people with stupid money, they'll go buy 4 or 5 of them and trash them, and they don't care.
Yeah.
And that's probably why I got so many dang cars, is because I've developed a love for them and I can't get rid of them. Man, it is. It's hard, because that Caprice, I turned it into an Impala SS. And it lifted. And when I got it, it had 88 or 90,000 original miles on it. It was a grandpa's car.
Wow.
And it was a cream puff. and it's still got all the original leather interior in it and everything. It's super nice, and I bet it only has like 164,000 miles on it, and it's a 95. And I put all that work into it, man. And I mean, I'll probably never get that out of it, but it's just like I just wanted to have something different. I'm just a different person,
Yeah. So, do you have a dream car that you would like to work on?
I own them.
You own them.
I own them.
Well, there you go. So you've got that going for you, and that I love that. That's great.
Everybody else wants but can't get.
So, what would you say is next for you? Would you say that maybe there's some gold in your future?
Oh, I mean, SICW's got me on a kind of a push right now, man. I have not lost a match in 2023. Anyway,
that's good.
And I will be going. I have entered into the Bruiser Brody Battle Royal Memorial.
Okay.
That's going to be in May, and there is right now there is 20 or 21 legends that are going to be there, and it is the 64th anniversary of Wrestling at the Chase.
Okay.
And they're inducting Gerald Briscoe.
Mm-hmm.
JBL's going to be there. Buff Bagwell, $1 Million Man, Virgil. I mean, dude, the Grappler. There's the legends there that are going to be there. I mean, there's Cowboy Bob. I mean, if you go to SICW's page and look it up, it's going to be at the Aviator Hotel, which I still got my reservations to get my room. It is going to be the biggest thing. It's going to be this is my WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Because of all these legends, I get to perform in front of these people.
Right.
And so it's really exciting for me to this is a huge stage for me.
Yeah.
And for me to get the opportunity, I'm so thankful to Herb and all them to see my value,
Yeah. Yes. It has been really nice to be able to see that because I don't know. You're working with Lucky Pete Larson now, right?
Yes.
Okay. And man, that dude can talk. He cracks me up.
Dude, I sit here and watch him, and he cracks me up. and then he is so hardcore about me and my character up there, and he's beating them over the head with my my character up there, and it's great to have the backing. Right. He is a legit solid manager. That guy's went to bat for me, and Lucky, his name's Pete Rosen. He's a legitimate. He is a for real lawyer.
Okay.
And that man is a managerial genius. He can talk. His favorite wrestler was Roddy Piper. He was really good friends with him. That man, right before Christmas, he says, we finished the show, and he says, "Come here, Joe." Yeah, I said, "What's up?" He goes, "Here, talk to Lanny." And so I looked at the phone. Well, I'm FaceTiming with Lanny Poffo.
Oh, wow.
And I got to talk to Lanny before he passed. This was right before Christmas.
Yeah.
And I got to say hi to him. It made my life. I got to talk to the Sandwich man's brother. The genius.
Yeah.
And it's not every day you get to do something like that.
No.
And so it's just little things like that. I might end up. From what he said, I might get to cross paths with Missy Hyatt here for long.
All right, that's the name I haven't. I remember as a kid, and wow, that would be really cool.
Yeah. And so it's been such a blessing.
Yeah. To
have met Herb, and I can thank Jason Jones for that, because he had brought Herb to that one show when I did I started with my hired gun. I did it was the VIP match, which is the pre-show match.
Yeah.
And then everything just started building. Well, Herb had saw that, and he was so impressed, and he wanted to get me up there, and the rest is history, man.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Jason Jones, that is a busy dude, and he is keeping you guys busy. A whole month of February, you guys are having shows every single weekend.
Yeah, and my match with Doomsday Saturday was number 9 on 10 matches.
Oh wow. Okay. So
So what we're doing is we're doing TV tapings basically, and we're going to take those and send them to some of the TV stations to see if we can get picked up
that would
on a
be
regular.
great.
We're going to load some of them to YouTube for YouTube shows.
Okay.
And so, and then we'll be allowed to use that footage to either make like highlight reels or send to promoters and things like that.
Yeah.
And so, and as you can see, like I went down last week for training and we did some promo shots. And so my profile picture is that my silverback gimmick, and
Yeah.
man, that came out so good. It totally looks like some comic book stuff, like a comic book character, come to life. And it's just been, I mean, this month of work down there is just unreal. We set the whole show is set up like the original, like TBS,
Yeah.
with the flag hanging down and the entrance is straight to the ring.
Right.
I mean, man, he spared no expense. Like it's legit. It's legit fire, man. It is. It's amazing.
That's cool. I definitely want to come out there and see that because I haven't got the opportunity to do that, but I'm going to try my best this year to make it out there for that because I think you guys are only an hour and a half away from me, so it's not that far of a drive for me.
Yeah, I drive an hour and 14 minutes.
Yeah,
there to the shows or train, So
right. So
family, I got extended family that drives down there, man, and friends that come down for this last one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, one that had never seen. So one guy's name was Jim Updike and his son. I used to paint when I used to paint houses with my brother, and he's like, man, he told his dad, you got to come down here and watch. Well, he got to see my first match against Doomsday, and it was, there were people talking like it was, if not the match of the night, it was pretty close. Yeah. Like it was insane. And so, and he was just like, holy moly, that was, because he'd never went to one of them. I mean, he's like, well, my son won't be down next weekend, but I'm thinking about grabbing the grandkids and bringing them down. I was like, yeah, do that. But now he's one. Yeah, we're going to make you one.
Well, so
like,
speaking,
good talent.
Yes, you do. The talent there is amazing. It's a very good lineup of wrestlers there, and I know that Jason Jones takes it very serious on putting forth a very professional show, and I appreciate that so much.
Serious is an understatement.
So there was something that you posted online, and this is going to what you were just saying just a minute ago, the Doomsday match. So you said if you weren't there, that you missed a war. Kind of talk about that match a little bit for me.
So Steven's been a brewing a little bit. He's upset that I left the group.
Uh-huh.
And I was a silverback when he found me and brought me in, and gave me this deal with the hired gun, and I left that, and my first that first match, Steven didn't even fool me. I just think he was trying to put his evil plans in place.
Right.
So I didn't find out until just a few days before the show that I was going to take on Doomsday, because he had a big surprise for me.
Uh-huh.
And so I just had the game plan with that. Well, okay, 7-foot Doomsday. Okay, well, let's rock. I'm a big guy too, and I'm not afraid to take you on. And so I get to the ring, and we just face off and go at it.
Yeah.
We spare no expense. We didn't hold back with each other.
That's cool. I want to see it. I'm sure that'll be on. I know they come out with DVDs and things like that. Or would this be part of the stuff that you're sending out and putting on YouTube?
It won't be on the DVDs. It's going to be YouTube. It's going to be YouTube shows.
Okay.
We went through this match, and we got to a point where we were just exchanging shots in the ring just as hard as we could with each other.
Yeah.
and we connected with a double clothesline, and I think that we were going to take each other's head off at the same time. And I think there's a picture I posted where it looks like both of us are 3 or 4 feet out in the air. That clothesline at the same time, because I guess we just, I ducked one and we just thought the same thing and we just leveled each other.
Wow.
And it come down to it that he started to cheat a little bit, and I got to the point where I was about to choke slam him, and Jim Fallon, his little tag team buddy, come in there and punches me in the back of the head, and I turn around and he starts to lay into me some chops, and I'm chasing Jim. At this point, I've already, DQ win. And Stephen E. slides his chair into the ring, and Doomsday blasts me with a chair from behind. And then Fallon, he blasts me. He blasts me with his whatever his cutter thing is. And lo and behold, man, I had some help from the back come out. Gary Graham come out to chase him off. And so Doomsday made the fatal mistake of when Gary hit the ring, he dropped that chair beside me. And when he went after Gary, I picked that chair up and I just lit him up like 4th of July. So yeah, it's a that match. We went at it. I think I did. I come off the second turnbuckle with a shoulder tackle. And blasted him with that. And so I can't wait to see it. It's going to be an amazing match.
Man, I can't wait to see it either.
It was, and I think we only went like about 6.5 minutes on that match. The curtain. So down the road, there's going to be a Helms Doomsday 2.
Okay.
And it's not going to be no 6-minute match, because after me taking that chair shot and that cheap crap, I'm going to demand time.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick that man apart.
Man, I can't wait to see that. So, kind of going into some of this, my questions that I have here. I just have a few more for you before I get you off of here. Who would you say is one of your favorite opponents that you've had since you started?
I wrestled Roscoe Monroe quite a few times. I've wrestled him in West Plains. I wrestled him in Springfield. I think, wrestling in Springfield and wrestling in Harrison. I wrestled him 3 times. And with Roscoe being like 64 years old,
dude's in good shape for being that 64.
And he took out the punishment that I delivered on him very well. And I was impressed with what he could take.
Right.
And he's a crowd favorite. Mm-hmm. And he did pick up a DQ win or a count out win over me when I left Stevens. So he did get one on me. Yeah. So, but yet I've not been beat in mid-states. I've not technically lost in mid-states. But I like Roscoe. But as far as just tit for tat, great match, that Doomsday match it's just one I can hang my hat on for now.
All right.
Like Chad's a great guy, man. I like Chad.
Yeah.
Chad, he's been around a long time. Doomer has a great mind for professional wrestling.
Awesome. So I want to know, has your answer changed? Are you still, which do you prefer, heel or babyface?
I think I was real partial to being heel because I got really good at it.
Yeah.
I got really good at, like, if I thought I was going to forget something, I could just go to something dirty.
Right. Yeah.
And I was nervous going back to face because when I started as a face, I didn't have a whole lot of time in the ring doing it.
Yeah.
And so I was really nervous when I went back as the Silverback to get into the ring and not do dirty stuff.
Yeah.
We don't do that anymore, right?
Right.
But then I talk to my trainer Terry and everybody else, and they're like, Joe, there's not really much you have to change up because being the silverback, you're aggressive.
Right.
You get angry, you're mad, you want to tear everything apart because you're territorial.
Yep.
You can't throw punches. You have to throw, you gotta throw open hands. You can't choke anybody on the ropes, but you can beat them down. I mean, you could it's
Yeah.
You just have to change a couple little things and then be nice to the kids. And one of those kids, and I got to tell you a story about this. You're going to love it.
All right.
And once kids see you, then you're great. So I'm over at the merch table, and I come out. This was it was last weekend, not this weekend. It was the weekend before when I first debuted.
Okay.
And there was 2 little boys running around there, and they both had little lucha masks on. One had a little white lucha mask on, and his grandpa brought him over the table, and they wanted me to sign some stuff. He come over there with his hands all cupped up to his chest, and you see him just with this look of despair on his face, right? I'm like, what's going on? And he's like, my grandson wants to come over and tell you something he feels really bad about because he said some really bad stuff about you last time he was here. And I was like, what? And he comes over here, come over and talk to him. And I was like, he looks up at me with these puppy dog eyes, like almost in tears, man, And I'm like, what's going on? He goes, well, I just wanted to tell you, like, I wanted to apologize to you because I said some really, really bad things to you and about you the last time you was here. And I just wanted to say I was sorry. And I was like, what are you talking about? I said, buddy, I said, look, last time I was here, I wasn't such a nice guy.
Yeah.
I was a bad guy. I was doing mean stuff. And I said, you're supposed to boo the bad guys and you're supposed to cheer the good guys. That's how it works.
Right.
I said, it's okay. And I signed his little stuff or whatever. And I said, it's all right. Not a big deal. And he just kept coming back over there, and he kept coming back over apologizing to me. And I said, come here. And he walks over to the table. I said, no, come around here over here to me. And I get down there right there close to his ear, and I give him a big old hug, and I tell him, I said, it's okay. It's not a big deal. It's all going to be all right, okay? And he just kind of shook his head like, yeah, and went on about his way all happy, and it's just it's little things like that, man. When you're having an impact on them, once you're a bad guy and then you're a good guy, and then you these kids, the emotions, you're doing it right if you have that reaction with people. Yeah. And this whole last week, whenever it was announced me versus Doomsday, the closer it got to showtime, the more inbox messages came about, oh man, you got this, blah, 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 blah. People, I don't even know who you are. I don't even think you're a friend on my Facebook, but you're hitting my inbox and telling me, I can't wait, blah, blah, blah. They're just so excited,
That's
and
cool.
I'm like, wow, this is not what I expected. Like, I expected it to be a little over, but like after one match of debuting at Harrison, and I just think they were ready. Yeah. I think they were ready for something new, a new hero, just something larger than life. Yeah. And it's what I told, I think I told Steven the other day. I said, my character jogs the memories of the older generation. Yes. And then captivates the young. Definitely. And that's great, because now those kids want to come and those parents are going to bring them.
Man, I love hearing this. That I love those kind of stories, with the kids, because they get so excited. And I remember being a kid and how real it felt to me as a kid. So, that's amazing.
Yes. And then when you got that larger in life person getting down there with you on your level and telling you it's okay. Yeah. Everything's going to be all right. Don't you worry about a thing. You have fun. Yeah. And you don't get that at the WWF places. No. WWE, you don't get that. You don't get that kind of reaction. That's why I'm like, if you want to drive 180 miles to go to these shows and spend ungodly amount of money, but you got such good talent in your backyard that you won't drive 20 minutes and spend way less money and have the interaction as an independent show. Yeah. Independent show, you're going to spend less money than you go into the movies, and you got live interaction that you can't get nowhere else. Right.
Well, I mean, you've probably heard me tell this story before, My first ever independent wrestling show that I went to, the main event was Duke Cornell versus Luke Langley.
Oh yeah.
That was probably by far one of the best matches I've seen in years. And I even told Luke after it was over, I said, dude, that's better than 90% of what you see on TV.
Amen. You know, Luke is amazing, man. He is amazing.
Yeah.
He is. So he ended up doing 2 title matches Saturday night. Like opening, he went against Blue Bolt.
Oh wow.
And he open challenged, and Colton Vaught challenged him he was the 10th match right after me.
That's crazy, man.
He put on 2 bangers, man. Luke put on 2 bangers. You know, and I'm like, next to me the merch, and I'm just like looking at him like, oh, I'm so proud of you. You are so awesome, you know.
Yeah.
And he's so quiet. He's so quiet and humble about everything. And he's like, oh man, you did a great job. And he just has this little smile on his face, like, well, yeah, you know.
Yeah.
He's just so humble and it's just great. He has a great craft, and I don't understand why that guy isn't like making millions of dollars somewhere.
I know. He is the best around.
His physique is amazing. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
And he can do anything. He can make anybody look good.
Right. Yep. I definitely agree with you on that one. I'm actually excited. I'm going to get to see him next weekend. I'm going to get to see him wrestle. So on Sunday.
Oh, Brett, Diamond State?
Yeah, Diamond State. It's like right down the road from my house. I'm going to take my kids to it. We're all excited. I actually might be taking one of my daughter's friends to it as well. So
that's what I'm saying. Like it's right down the road. Why not?
Yeah. $20. You know, I mean, come on.
I'll go to any wrestling. Yeah, if it's right down the road for me, I'm going to go. I was mad because right before I got into professional wrestling, I didn't know. I lived 2 blocks from where Jason was putting on mid-states the whole time. I had no idea.
Oh, wow.
Seen the little thing going by home mid-states wrestling. I was like, get out of here. I've lived over here 6 years and had no idea that was right by my house. I was angry because I used to go to indie shows all the time. I used to take my kids to them all the time. And, and it's crazy because now they'll come and watch Dad, you know, and or Papa Joe.
So I actually have a funny story with my son. You know, I take them to shows now and everything like that. And that's a lot of how I get the wrestlers that I have on my podcast, you know, is from the shows that I've went to and networking on Facebook and things like that. My ex-wife told me the other day that my son is telling everybody that his dad is famous because of this podcast, because of all the wrestlers and stuff that I get on here.
Take it. Take it.
Yeah.
Because the thing about I've realized is I remember when I was a kid, my dad was like a superhero.
Yeah.
You know, and let them live that. You know, we may be like, yeah, I ain't no superstar. I ain't nobody famous.
Right.
But to that kid, man, you're hired in the government.
It was just kind of a cool moment because, you know, I actually have a pretty big guest. I haven't announced it yet. That's going to be coming on the show for my anniversary show. And nice. I met him at Comic-Con and all that stuff. So I told him, hey, because they're actually, it has to do with the TV show that he watches. And I said, hey, I actually got this person to agree to come on the show. And he was like, I knew you were going to do that. I was like, really? What? He's like, yeah, of course you are. I was like, oh, okay. So it was kind of a cool moment, you know, because he has a lot more faith in me than I guess I do when it comes to this. So,
right.
Yeah. Kids are like that though. You know, I love it.
Well, that's the thing, man. They believe you're going to do it if you say so. So you better chalk it up and get it done.
That's true. Yep. So just a couple more questions.
Okay.
What are some of the goals you have for the future?
You know, I want to wrestle Trevor Murdoch.
Okay.
I want to maybe get in the ring and train with him a little bit. I want a match with Trevor.
Yeah.
You know, I've heard so much good things, and I know, you know, Steven's a good friend of his.
Yeah.
And that is just a guy that, I want to be under a learning tree. I want to get into the NWA.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That I would love to get into the NWA. I would, I'd like to go as far. I just want to go as far as I can with it.
Right.
Because my window of time isn't great for the big companies. But even if I had a few dark matches here and there, or even got in the NWA, hey, that's solid by me. Because it was even with arena football, that was my NFL. If I didn't make it to NFL, that was good enough for me because I had opportunities to play like NFL Europe, and I just didn't go.
Right.
So I don't want to say I'm never going to stop trying to improve and get to those places, but I just know my window of time is not where it should be, and I'll take anything I can get, and I'm just going to keep working hard for it.
Man, I'm one of those. I believe in you, man. I do. I truly do. I've been saying it since I first got you on the show, since I first got to see you wrestle. You have it, and if anybody can do that, I believe that you can.
Well, I appreciate that. It's just it's one of those things. I'm just going to keep working to it, and if if an opportunity presents itself, sweet.
Yeah.
It's just like I had a conversation with Herb the other day, and he's like, Joe, he goes, I don't care too much for your new you look. And I said, oh, really? You don't like the Silverback? He's like, no, it's just not my thing. He said, but he said, I said the same thing to Vader. And he said, tells you how much I know. And so, Herb's a great guy. Like, he's got just so much knowledge.
Yeah.
So
that's somebody I think I'd love to talk to when it comes to this show. I think you'd have a lot of knowledge to bring on.
You can sit down for 2 hours and you're so entertained. You want to keep going.
Right. Yeah, I can see that happening. I've had that happen a few times. I've actually got Bob Evans scheduled to record next Monday with me, so I'm actually pretty excited about that one as well. So
Brutal Bob.
Yeah. So and I know he's got a lot of that knowledge.
I did his seminar when I first got into this. I went down to Core, and I did his seminar. I don't know if he remembered me, but if he did, he saw me and he was like the big big box guy, the big ball box guy. Watch out for that guy because I stuck out like a sore thumb. But yeah, it's been great, and I'm excited to get into Newbury too. But I do see gold in my future. I feel it's coming at the right time. It'll happen.
Awesome.
But I'm also one of those people that I'm over without having to have a title around my waist.
Right.
So
it's kind of that Kurt Angle or the Undertaker. They're their own.
Yeah, Andre didn't have to have a title.
No, they're their own thing. They're their own draw.
And people always tell you, "Oh man, they don't mean anything." And I said, "Yeah, I get that. I get that to an extent, but to your fans,
yes,
it means the world to them."
Correct.
Because they're the ones buying your merchandise. They're the ones that are following you. They're the ones spending the money for the ticket sales. They want to see their champion be a champ.
Correct. Yep.
If they ever win that title, they'll always be a champ in their mind.
Yep.
And I got one guy, I think his name is Jeff Van Oy. He's always messaging, hitting me up, man, you're my champion no matter what. You're the champ no matter what. It's constant. He'll come see me at the shows and shake my hand and have to give me a hug and be like, you're my champion, buddy. I believe in you, and
That's
they
cool.
just go into it. And that's even as a bad guy.
Yeah.
Even as a bad guy, it was still the same. Playing the heel, it was the same. And I got told the other day, they said, Joe, you're Big Joe. Whether you come out with a hired gun, you come out as the Silverback, or you come out in the dadgum chicken suit. They're gonna love you because you're Big Joe.
Right.
And so it's one of those things. It's like I can't, they just like me.
Yeah. Well, that's a good place to be.
Yeah, it is.
So, do you have any? Speaking of your fans, is there anything that you want to say to them?
I just want to tell them let's just keep pushing through 2023 and let's hope together that we can just shoot for the stars, man, because I can't do this without them.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I can be Big Joe, but I can't be Big Joe the wrestler without these people.
Right.
These people come in and they buy seats, they fill the stands, they cheer, they show the promoter that I'm valid.
Yes.
I'm valuable, and I'm something to these people. Something these people want to get behind. Yeah. And if it ain't for them, I'm not who I am.
Right. Yeah. So if people want to follow you online, how can they do that?
You can hit me up on Instagram. I have a Facebook page. Just look up Joe Helms, and you'll see my Silverback picture on there. I had a business page, but I'm kind of locked out of it for now. I got to restart another one.
Okay.
So,
all right.
But yeah, I'm mainly at the mid-state shows is that's actually my home base is mid-states.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'll be debuting at a New Breed in Eldon, Missouri, March 18th.
Okay.
As the Silverback. And, I'm at SICW in Southern Illinois, which is on YouTube on Sunday nights at 8 p.m.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd like to get a lot more people on there watching. It's great. And there's so much talent up there also. Those guys are great locker room.
Yeah.
I actually got to wrestle Kyle Hawk yesterday.
Okay.
That is Tatanka's nephew.
Really? Oh, wow. Okay, that's really neat.
And I ended up taking him out. He got the payout choke slam. Let's just put it that way.
So we can expect to see a lot of people getting taken out by Big Joe Helms in 2023.
Yes, I feel some gold coming of some sort. I just feel it's just a matter of time. Shoot, by the end of 2023, man, I may have 4 or 5 of them bad boys. Who knows?
Call you Joey Six Belts?
No, I'm not going to do that. I see people doing that all the time. I'm like, come on, guys. Like, I'm not gonna be that trend.
Oh man! All right.
I see people have fun with it, but I just think it's goofy.
Oh yeah. All right, man. Well, it has been great talking to you tonight. I have really enjoyed it, and I can't wait.
To that show, man.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to try to make it out there to a mid-state show here real soon. It's not that far for me. I've been dealing with some stuff trying to get my prescription right for my glasses. I can't really drive at night right now. So once I get that all squared away and everything, I will be heading out that way so I can go to a show.
Yeah, you'll have to get one of my hired gun dolls. I got a few of them now.
Awesome. I definitely have to get one of those. All right, man. Well, you have a great night, and I can't wait to see what happens in the future for you.
Yeah, we're just going to keep pressing on.
All right, man.
Thank you, Jared.
It took me 10 years to make the perfect man cave.
And then we took it over. And we made it into the multiversal chamber.
Then I started my own podcast.
And we took that over too. And we're the co-hosts, the Multiverse Kids.
Yeah, and I'm the dad, the geeky dad. And every week, we what?
We review the movies, shows, and books, games, and toys.
Yeah, and sometimes we even have a special guest. So, join us every week on the Geeky Dad Podcast.
Hey everyone, this is Brian Ferguson. If you're listening to this, then I know you are enjoying the Bumps and Thumbs podcast. In order to continue to run the podcast and get guests on the show, we need support from people like you. Please go to anchor.fm/Brian, BRIAN -Ferguson, FERGUSON, 3, and click on the support button. Once you are there, you'll have options to select from to make a monthly contribution. Your support will help us get on wrestling stars that require financial compensation. Again, that's anchor.fm/Brian, BRIAN Ferguson, Ferguson, 3, and click on the support button. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your support, and enjoy the podcast.
Hi everyone, I'm Lisa.
And I'm Dawn.
And if you've ever watched a TV show and thought to yourself, oh my god, that season finale plot twist was absolutely bonkers.
Or seen a movie and thought, wow, I need to talk to somebody about this train wreck immediately.
Then we think you'll fit right in with our podcast, I Hate It, Let's Watch It. We watch TV shows like Riverdale and Emily in Paris.
And movies like Deep Water, Killer Sofa, Rubber, and Deadly Illusions. And we give them the total rinsing they deserve.
It's basically group therapy for movie masochists. So come check us out wherever you stream podcasts.
All right, everybody. I hope that you enjoyed that episode with Joe Helms. I had a lot of fun talking with him. And like I said before, I can't wait to see where he goes next. I can just see his trajectory just going up from there. And I can't wait to see it. So, we'll probably check back in with him maybe sometime in the future and everything, get him back on the show to kind of talk about what's going on with him again. I always enjoy talking with him. I'll send him a message every once in a while and we'll just kind of chit-chat, you know. And he's a good guy, and I really enjoy talking with him. So my next episode that you will be hearing is with my first female wrestler that I've had on the show, and that is Judy Azul. You will be looking at that episode on Thursday of this week. I've got some scheduling things that I have to do to work out, because I do have a special episode coming out in the next few weeks. I am getting close to my 1-year anniversary show. So I will be having 2 episodes that come out this week. This one that you hear Monday, and then I will have another one on Thursday for you guys to hear. So make sure that you tune back in to listen to the Judy Azul episode. I really enjoyed talking with her. She was a lot of fun. She has that bright personality that just makes you want to smile. And I was very glad that I got to talk with her. And I can't wait for you guys to hear that episode. So make sure that you tune back in and listen to that one, because it is a very good episode as well. I've got some really cool ones that are coming up. I actually had my next 2 confirmed that they will be with me. The episode coming out after that, the one right before my anniversary episode, will be with a man that you have heard me talk about on this show before. And that is my beginning band director, George Pekorski. As this episode is releasing, I will be recording with him, and I'm very excited for you guys to be able to hear his story and all the people that he has worked with when it comes to music and things like that. He's left a mark on a lot of people's lives, and I'm very excited for you guys to be able to hear that episode. So make sure that you do tune in and listen to that one as well. He's got tons and tons of stories. I talked to him on the phone the other day, and I'm very excited for him to be on, and he's very excited to be coming on here as well. So if you guys want to follow me online, you can do so by going to Instagram or Facebook or Snapchat or Twitter or Hive or in TikTok, any of those places, and you can find me. Just look up If You Give a Dad a Podcast. You can find me on there. I believe on Facebook it is the acronym IGADAP, IYGADAP. You can find me on Instagram, and that is Give a Dad a Podcast, and on Hive and Twitter it is Dad Podcast 11, and my TikTok and my Snapchat are both the IGADAP as well. But just go and look me up. Like I said, you can go on Google and look up Give a Dad a Podcast. You can find me all over the place. And yeah, just come and follow me. You know, send me a message. Tell me what you think of the episodes that are coming out. Tell me if there's something that you would like to hear, or if there's something you would like me to ask one of my guests. Send me a line and let me know. Also, if you'd like to send me an email, you can do so by sending it to giveadatapodcast@gmail.com. Send me a line on there as well. If you like what you hear, make sure you send me something and tell me that you like it. Or if you don't like it, tell me it sucks. You know, I just love hearing from you guys. So, also, if you like this episode, go out and rate it and review it at the top of the page on Spotify, or if you're listening on iTunes or something like that, and give me a rating. Let me know what you guys think of these episodes. That way I know if I'm bringing you the content that you want to hear. So I want to give a special shout out to my podcast network, the OIW Podcast Network. You can find all kinds of great shows on there. You can find mine on there, as well as some other ones that do a little bit of nerdy talk as well. We've got wrestling shows on there. We've got shows that deal with retro video games, if that's something that you would like to hear. So go and check them out. OIW Podcast Network. If you go to my link tree, I should have a link to there. Or if you just want to go to my show notes, I'll have a link to it in my show notes as well. I also have links to my merch on there, and I will be having new merch coming out here pretty soon. So yeah, just keep on the lookout for that. All this stuff is in my show notes. And I just want to give one last shout out to the guy who made my ending theme song for me, D-Cure. He is awesome. Still coming out with great music. He had a new song called Undead 2 that came out the other day, and it's really good. Dude never misses when it comes to his music. So just go out there, check out his stuff. He's awesome. If you like my ending theme song, go and support his music as well. So I'm going to close this show. Make sure, like I said, tune back in on Thursday for the Judy Azul episode. It's going to be a great time, and you'll be glad that you showed up. Don't miss it. I love you guys. I hope that you have a wonderful week, and I will see you next time. Bye.
Room rounded, but I got a podcast on. He calls us beautiful people, then tells us who we have on. The best part of my day, the word blocked out in my pods. Tell my friends all about it so that they follow along. And the host is kinda nerdy, but guess what, I am as well. I don't feel so alone, and I began walking out of my shell. Heard a story, I need a connection I haven't felt. I'll be looking for the next one, till then farewell. It's the podcast for me. Have it on, better go see. Listen closely, download and tune in remotely. It's the podcast for me. Have it on, better go see. And listen closely, download and tune in remotely.
This podcast is part of the OIW Podcasting Network.